Welcome to Walking Together, a podcast all about encouraging each other as we follow Jesus together. I'm your host, Dennis Lavelle. Let's start walking. One of the huge popular trends right now is aromatherapy, and people use it to relax and to de-stress. Why? Because certain smells can actually calm our mind and improve our mood. One of my favorite smells growing up was the smell of Granny's house. There was a uniqueness about it. There was just a sense of calmness and peace when I walked through the front door of her house. Every time I came in, I knew Granny was going to give me a big hug. But the smell, just opening Granny's door, it was like a hug before the hug. You see, a scent or a smell can speak before a word is even said. It just lingers, and it creates a sort of a bookmark in your mind that you can't forget. I remember years ago there was a sweet lady by the name of Elsie who attended the church where my father pastored. She was gracious, loving, kind, and really funny. But if you sat within 2 rows of where she was sitting, you couldn't focus on the service or the sermon, because the amount of perfume that she was wearing would literally make your eyes water, and it would make my wife sneeze. So we'd have to sit on the opposite side of the church. Well, today I want to spend a few minutes in John 12 and talk to you about the smell of your perfume. Now, not the kind in the bottle, but the kind that comes from your life, your sacrifice, your worship, your offering. In John 12, Mary pours a jar of perfume on Jesus' feet. But this isn't just about fragrance. This is worship. This is honor. This is love in action. And I recommend you take the time to read the first 8 verses of John 12. But let me summarize what's happening. It's 6 days before the Passover festival, and Jesus was going to the town of Bethany, and that's where Lazarus lived. This is the same Lazarus that Jesus raised from the dead. And there they had dinner for Jesus. Now Martha served the food, and Lazarus was one of the people eating with Jesus. And at some point after dinner, Mary takes a pound of very costly perfume, and she pours it out on Jesus' feet, and then wipes his feet with her hair. Now, this perfume is called spikenard, which is made from grinding a plant, and it's specifically used in the preparation and anointing of a body before burial. And John says that the house is completely filled with the fragrance that everyone recognized because it had been used for centuries. Matter of fact, the Song of Solomon makes a couple of references to spikenard as well. So the house was filled with an unmistakable scent. Now notice it wasn't just the room that was filled with this lovely odor, but the entire house. So let me give you 3 encouraging thoughts today about what Mary did and how this actually applies to us. Number 1, your perfume is your worship. Now, Mary didn't just show up. She gave. She gave something costly and personal. This was perfume that was worth a year's wages. This wasn't just spare change that she found between the couch cushions or in the cup holder of her car. It was sacrificial. Her extravagant gift is a picture of the kind of offering expected of each of us. Only the best was good enough for Jesus, and she was willing to give everything as an act of worship. And the same should be true of us. So let me ask you, what is costly to you? Time? Attention? Comfort? See, worship isn't just singing a song. It's whatever you pour out for Jesus. Your perfume is your willingness to say, Jesus, you're worth my best, not my leftovers. But let me also say this. Your perfume may be criticized. Verse 5 says that Judas criticized what she was doing, saying that the perfume could have been sold and given to the poor. Sounds pretty noble, right? But John tells us that Judas didn't actually care about the poor. He cared about the money because he was a thief. And that is abundantly clear when you read verse 6. He was the one who kept the money bag for the group of followers, and he stole money from the bag often. But Jesus defends her, saying, "Leave her alone. She has kept this for the day of my burial." She knew that it wasn't about getting something from Jesus, but rather the giving of herself in worship. And Mary's worship was misunderstood. Real devotion, real worship to the Lord will always confuse people who are only looking at things from the outside. And some people won't understand your worship or your priorities or your faithfulness. But hey, don't let that stress you out because you're not doing it for them. And then the third thing, don't forget that your perfume will fill the places and spaces that you go. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. When you live a poured out life, it affects the atmosphere where you are. True worship, just like perfume, shifts the mood. It changes what you're thinking, and it has an impact on people who are in the spaces and places with you. Ask yourself this: are people impacted by my presence? Not because you're loud, but because your life carries the fragrance of Jesus. Peace, grace, kindness, humility. Your actions speak. And when they reflect Jesus, the scent of your faith lingers long after you leave the room. When God prompts you to give, serve, or speak, do it. Your act of obedience might be exactly what someone needs right now. So, what's the power of your perfume? Well, the power of your perfume isn't about being impressive. It's about being poured out. It's about giving your all to the Lord. It's about time spent in prayer when you could have scrolled on your phone. It's showing kindness to someone who doesn't really deserve it. It's choosing to forgive someone when it's easier to stay mad. So let me recap everything for you. Your perfume is your worship. And your perfume may be criticized by others. But don't worry about that. It's not for them. And wherever you go, your perfume will fill the place and space where you are. And I'll say it again. When your actions reflect the love of Jesus, the scent of your faith lingers long after you leave the room. Well, that's my encouragement for you today. Thanks for listening in today. If you haven't already, hit that little subscribe button. Sometimes it's an arrow, sometimes a bell, sometimes it's just the word subscribe. And when you do, the next episode will automatically download and you'll be notified when it's ready to listen to. Please share the podcast link with your friends. I'd love to hear from you if this has been a blessing. Keep pouring yourselves out for the Lord because it's totally worth it. We'll see you next time.